Hello, this is Greg Allison with Green Gregs. Today these woods are relatively silent and it echoes my heart. The profound sadness I feel as our nation is torn apart. To heal it quickly, we must all now start. And I hope each of you will rise to the challenge of doing your part. Greg, what are you talking about? Well, we know what we're talking about. The divisions in this country run deep. You know, it's more than George Floyd. That was just the ember that ignited the fuse, more or less. You know, I've done several videos just before all this broke out about Powder Keg USA. Wow, was that timely? I seem to be all too prophetic in a lot of my videos. So, we have lots of divisions in this country. They run far and deep. And we have to address those. So, some we can address. Some are going to be harder. But I do think this is one that we should start with now. Like I said, it can get a lot worse. The powder keg is not exploded yet. Everything hasn't come totally apart, but it's definitely spewing. It can get a lot worse. I mean, I believe last night I was told there was like 400 cities that had riots and protests. Now, let's be clear. Let us be clear and let us be plain. And to this end, I'm going to explain. Every single person in this nation has rights and liberty. The right to assemble, to you, is a guarantee. We have the right to assemble. We have the right to protest. We have the right to push for redress and to our government to test. And people feel grievance. A lot of people are hurt. A lot of nerves are frayed. The feelings are deep on all sides. We can try to paper it over and gloss it over and make excuses and count statistics. And obviously in the end, none of that will matter. Because what people feel is their perceptions that in the end do matter. If when I was in the Army, I went to primary leadership school to train me to be a sergeant. I didn't stay in long enough to achieve that rank with the unit I was in, the requirements for board testing that they had. Although I made Post Soldier of the Year at Fort Greeley, mind you. In any event. So, the sergeant, Sergeant Spivey was his name, good man. Black Staff Sergeant. He taught me something I was long remember. And it's that the whole world and everybody in it has their own mental view of what the world is. And you know, he's not the first person to codify this, but he taught it in a good manner. He made it real practical the way he taught it. That we all have our worldview. And every worldview is unique. Everybody has their sense of what they believe and perceive reality to be. And once you have this worldview, you have these rose-colored glasses on, in essence. You interpret everything you see, all new information, according to that worldview you hold. Because that's the way you've interpreted the world. Now the truth is, there's, you know, something on the order of 7 billion people on Earth. It means there's actually something like 7 billion different worldviews. Which one's right? Well, given my background in mathematics, I would have to say the probability is that none are right. So maybe all this right and wrong and this and that shouldn't be the point. The point should be for us to figure out how to get along and live in liberty. How do we get through and patch up all these differences far and wide? How do we take care of that which chafes our hide? There is, yeah, I've been reading so many comments on Facebook and other places. It's this, it's that, it's the other. Well, you know what? We got to see beyond that. We got to understand this, that to solve these problems, we need to be able to put ourselves in the shoes of the other. We need to be able to try to put on their rose-colored glasses and see the world from their viewpoint. And we need to do so with a sense of love. We need to be able to try to think as they think, and do so with a sense that we need to pull together. And a lot of you are going to be adverse to this, very adverse to it. Why should I pull together with these guys or those guys? Let me tell you something, my friends. There are no winners in a race war, no real winners. One side might dominate in the end, but everybody's going to lose. Everybody is going to lose profoundly in a civil war or a race war or anything like that. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be a lot worse than a lot of people imagine. A lot of people who may be instigating for this kind of stuff, look, I don't care if you're Antifa or white nationalist or this or that. In the end, it does not matter when all that you have fought for is reduced to cinder and splatter. There will be nothing worth having, nothing to be gotten, and your very names will soon be forgotten. Many of you will go to jail, many will go to prison, and history will not judge you but through another colored prism. All right, enough of poetry. Forgive me, I waxed that way. So, Greg, what are you talking about? Like, how can we do? What do we do about this? There's plenty we can do. We need to start reaching across the aisle of race, creed, and whatever other barriers divide us, and just show some love. For starters, just show some love. Do a good deed, smile, say hi every chance you get to somebody else. Try to be good. I will say this, everyone has a right to protest, everyone. No matter what background, no matter what you believe or think, we have a right of freedom of speech, and we have the right to assemble. There is not a right to destroy other people's properties, other people's livelihoods, other people's business. That is acts of terrorism and warfare. I don't care who's committing it, it's still the same. Those are not right. Those are not rights. People have worked hard to be where they're at and to have what they have, and a lot of them have nothing to do with the situation over which the protest is about. So there's, more than one type of person involved in this. There are protesters who have legitimate grievance to protest. I've said before in some videos that the black people, people of color, do feel discriminated against. They do feel the pressure of profiling. They do feel that people are looking at them like they might do something, like there may be a criminal, even when they're doctors and lawyers, engineers, accomplished people. They feel that pressure, they feel it all the time, and it weighs upon them. And whether you believe in that or not, or want to argue with it, doesn't matter. I'm telling you, it's the perception. We all have perceptions. You have a perception, I have a perception. We all have a perception. So we have to realize that that is what matters, that is what counts. We've got to realize that we've got to work through that. You throwing statistics out, left, right, up, down, is it going to get anybody to agree on the same ground? We have to be able to rather come together in love and peace and find ways to promote harmony. And there's a lot of you out there, I'm sure a lot of you could help work toward these solutions. You will not promote peace and harmony and gender understanding by destroying people's livelihoods and businesses, especially when they're so stressed they have already pre-existing shutdowns. You're going to up the angst, the madness, the anger. And a lot of you want that because some of you do want a race war. Some of you do want a civil war. And that it does include people on left and right, the far left, the far right. On this, the white nationalists and communists are probably in agreement, although they would angle for different outcomes, maybe. But in the end, the outcome would be the same. It would be authoritarianism and tyranny. Do you think that you're going to live with a living wage and get set on your sofa and play games till you get an old age? No, it's not going to work that way. You think the robots are going to produce everything? They won't. They're not going to do it, and especially won't do it for you. because the tasks that a robot can perform are all too few in reality. They're not able to go out and retrofit and fix and repair things where things aren't set up in certain ways. Artificial intelligence to this date is still artificial stupidity. Just call a call center and try to get through the automated call system and get something that makes sense, if you see what I'm talking about. There's no robot that can go into a house and replace the wiring that's already there. There's no robots that I know that can go in and fix an appliance. They might build them, but they can't fix them. They can't repair them. Our society will fall apart if we live on robotics. We have to have people. We have to have people. That's you and me. And yeah, there are jobs. You don't have a hopeless future. You can have a future with hope. There are things that you can do, and things that will make you proud to do. You'll be proud that you're not sitting on the sofa playing games forever, because you can have things that there's a reward in producing and building. Maybe we can find ways to bring you to that path. Grow some things, grow a garden. But most of all, I just want to say that we've got to find a path to peace. Some people don't want peace. Some people are out agitating. They think that, they're not going to be traced, that they can commit all these things. Well, the contact information available through the internet, you may be leaving your phones at home and wearing masks. The systems are still smarter and better than that. You've probably made some contacts in the past, and you've got close enough to certain places that the algorithms are good enough. The AI is good enough to figure that kind of stuff out. And it's not good enough to go in your house and trace down a burnt circuit and replace it, but it can figure out information like that. In fact, it's getting really good at that kind of stuff. Furthermore, that does mean that the people that fund this must be on some level on the inside, or think they are, because I think there is a kind of a war on the inside. And they're playing high-stakes gambits right now. And this is part of that high-stakes gambit that we're caught in. So here's my advice to you. Don't be played. Don't let the forces that be play you. I just realized I was facing the camera into the sun. I realized it makes it look like there's a snowstorm in this warm day, and there's not. Don't let the forces play you. That's what's happening. They're using you and playing you. If you're out there protesting, think again. Think about what you're getting in. Think about what the real ramifications will be when they take away your rights and liberty. Believe you me, that's the result. And it won't be that you get to sit on your sofa and play video games or whatever it is you've got in mind like that. Now, you may believe that, but you're going to be sadly disappointed in the end. I will do some more videos on that in the future. I'm going to talk about socialism, communism, fascism, all these isms of that ilk, the governance isms. They all lead to schisms and schisms, shamisms. None of them are good. None of those are good. I am against all that kind of stuff. I'm for liberty, for freedom, for choice, for the rights granted herein. And there's reasons for those. There's reasons that Patrick Henry said, give me liberty or give me death. There are reasons for that. And it's lost in the sands of time. A lot of people don't understand that now because our life has been so soft. But those days are coming to an end if we're not careful. We can still preserve our society. We can have a good life if we're not torn apart by the ensuing strife. Yeah, my heart's heavy and weary for what's going on. There's people involved. And I do feel for people of all color and creed. And as I said, reach out and to them show love and good deed. We don't need to see this kind of strife. You'll be lucky if it don't take your life. The outcome will be ugly. It will not be pretty. Not at all. It will be far worse than you think. Just think about the American war between the states, or as some people call it, a civil war. It was not really a civil war. It was not a true civil war. Is wars when neighbors are fighting each other, not mostly divided in the states. A true civil war is the ugliest kind of war you can imagine, but the war between the states and America was really bad. Just the war just the Battle of Gettysburg killed almost as many people in 3 days as the entire Vietnam War. I mean, as many Americans. So just bear these things in mind. Maybe some of you think that would be great and wonderful. I'm just here to tell you there's nothing great and wonderful about it. We must try to avert these kind of strife. Now, see, I do a channel here, I tell you people what to do to stay alive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. Well, this is the hive trying to come to us, my friends. In reality, they're trying to impose the hive upon us, against our will if necessary. That's what they'd like to do. Well, I'm not going into the hive. How about that? So, the purpose of this channel is to teach you how to survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. I cover how to eat out of the woods, how to survive. They like to take your property rights, take your farm, until you can't even go out in the country. You can only stay in the city and rack and stack shipping containers next to the railroad track, which are on the way to the gas chambers, I suppose, right? So many people. See, once you don't have a product to produce, once you're just sitting on that sofa, you'll be known as a useless eater. Now, if you want to see what the same people that may be motivating you to do what you're doing have to say about that, read up on Henry Kissinger and his quotes about useless eaters. His idea was to get rid of them. But useless eaters can be useful idiots in promoting and developing political systems and getting people in power. But what do most dictators do on their way to power? They use the disaffected of a country and a nation to put them in power, then they turn around on them and eliminate them. They kill them. Hitler did it. And that's what the despots typically do. That's what they typically do. So you're at great risk and great peril if you're involved in anything violent like that. Don't do it. Stay out of it. Stay away from it. Stay clean. Stay clear. Be good. You know, there are other ways to accomplish change, but we need to really consider what that is and how to go about it. There are better ways. There are better ways to do it, to mend our world. But we've got to mend our world. We need to come together. We can have a very peaceful, prosperous future. And we can do so with a little impact on the environment. I have a concept for a habitat. You can live in, make it live in, it'll be more beautiful than any home you've ever lived in. It'd be a zero energy impact, zero footprint. And it would have, you know, you basically take a nature bath inside of it, just like I am out here walking around in nature today. Now, that's why I chose to do this video out here, because nature has a common impact on people. And I think all these people in the cities need more nature, more greenery in their life. Grow a garden. Promote growing plants. We need to green the cities. And we need less people in the cities. This idea we can put everybody in rack and stack shipping containers is absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. 100% wrong. That is a horrible idea. It is a crime against humanity to come up with an idea like that. It's a crime against nature. People will take better care of nature, the kind of concepts I'm starting to promote. They'll take better care of the world. Trust me. I'll do a lot of videos on similar topics. Subscribe to my channel if you believe in what I'm saying. Click the update notification bell. If you don't believe what I'm saying, have a great life. I wish you well. But I hope you don't try to drag us all to, you know, where. And bang the update notification bell and click all to get all my updates. You can support my channel by clicking the links below. It's time to grow a garden right now. Click the links to True Leaf Market. That will support my channel. Go to prepwithgreg.com. Right now it seems like we're in a storm, but we may be in the calm before the storm. Now might be your last chance to get deliveries from the mail or to go out and buy things. And yeah, some of these people are talking about taking our power grid down. Grid goes down? Yeah, they're already talking about it. So, think about it. Think about it. The divisiveness in our society is too much. we got to heal it. We got to start. We got to start now. Do what you can. Be the change you want to see. Be the change you want to be. But do it in a good and loving manner. All the violence does not end well. There's no way that ends well. At the very least, it would promote the formation of a military state. We don't want that. We don't want that. Even martial law. So let's try to diffuse this quickly. You know, try to find people, reach out to them, show the love. But for those that are out doing this, if you're one of the guys out doing these things, stop and think. Please, just stop and think. Think about where this leads. And quit listening to things you're being told. You need to think for yourself. It's not going to be pretty, I promise. It's not going to be pretty. Stop and think. What does your heart tell you? Two wrongs does never make a right, my friends. Two wrongs never makes a right. Think about who you're affecting. Yeah, they've dehumanized all these other people to you. That's what they always do. Well, they're all humans. We're all humans. Everybody of every race, color, and creed are human. We all have a heart, except for sociopaths and psychopaths, which are distributed equally across all races, creeds, and nationalities, but tend to rise up the top of governments and organizations, and then they tend to coordinate people like us to fight against each other. And they get their kicks off that way, and they make money that way, and they make profits that way, and they advance their control, and they take over societies by pulling tricks like that. So don't be played. Don't let them play you. That's exactly what they're doing. So please, if you're into that, if you're out there as one of those guys, just reconsider. Please, reconsider. All right. And the rest of us, reach out in love across all barriers and divides. Try to do a good deed. And let's try to ensure that we have a better, more stable society going forward. Much love to everyone. Thank you for watching.